Hey, it is Kate and Lanissa coming back to you with another episode of What's Hot and What's Not for healthcare sales reps and physician liaisons. And today we are talking about the friend zone. And what's hot is staying out of the friend zone. The friend zone is a very, very deceptive place to be because it feels great. It's a very warm and fuzzy place to be. And what we mean when we talk about the friend zone is when you go in an office and you start to build that rapport. And here's the thing, the friend zone, why it's so deceptive, why it's so sneaky, is because it really starts from a good place. You want to build that rapport with those offices. And so you start to ask about their family, their kids, their pets. You talk about sports. You kind of make that small talk to build that relationship. But the friend zone means that it never goes any farther. And so you start to build those relationships, and then you never take that next step to ask, how can we serve you? How can we help you? What can we do to make this relationship better? How can our product help your practice? And so you never take that next step and you get friend zone. Sometimes that happens on the first call and you kind of chit chat and then you turn around and leave. Sometimes that happens on the second or the 10th or the 100th call and you never leave the friend zone. And the longer you stay in the friend zone and become buddies, the worse it gets, because then once you become friend zoned, then it becomes more and more awkward because you're buddies, and then you don't want to be pushy, and it becomes more and more awkward to take that next step. And why the friend zone is so deceptive is because it gives you a warm fuzzy, it gives them a warm fuzzy, and you can think that was a great call.
Everybody's feeling good. Everybody had a great call. Yeah.
Right. I have a great relationship with Dr. Jones.
Right.
And you can go back and tell your leadership, I am doing great. I am killing it in there. And I have a great relationship with them, but you're not really doing what it takes to get to that next step or move the dial. So that is why the friendship is, or the friend zone is, such a deceptive place to be. And honest confession time here. If you've been in the field for any length of time, you have spent some time in the friend zone. We have all been guilty of this. And Kate, I know you have some really great stories about the friend zone. So I would love for you to share that with us right now.
It's kind of sad that I have great stories about being stuck in the friend zone, but it's the truth. I mean, it's the truth. The first couple of years, I would even say, of my field sales career, I spent a lot of time in the friend zone with some major players that really could have moved the dial for me in my territory, but I didn't realize that I was in that friend zone. And you're right, it is deceptive because you feel like you're nailing it. You're going in that office, they're happy to see you. You're leaving, you're answering all their supply needs. You know, you're taking care of them on customer service level.
Bringing those brochures, leaving those samples, talking about the pets, talking about the family,
the kids, the vacation they just took, and they're asking you about your family. And when you leave, you're just like, oh man, this is great. Like, this is what it's supposed to be like. And half of that is supposed to be like that, right? But what you mentioned was when you become that buddy and you've never been or attempted to partner with them in a business perspective, the doctor doesn't expect it from you. And so when you do get to that point that you have to ask for business, or you have to have a conversation about numbers or product or their habits, it can blindside them. And it's off-putting and it's a little uncomfortable, right? Because they're like, whoa, okay, I thought we were friends. What's going on, right? And so you can, I mean, if the analogy of like a romantic relationship of like being friend zoned, it's the same thing. They're like, what are you talking about? We're just friends. And so avoiding being stuck there really is, I think, what separates a customer service rep from a sales rep. And if you're a sales rep, your job, and you know it because your leadership will tell you, your job is to move the dial forward, right? Increase revenue. And how you do that is through the partnering with the doctors and their prescription habits or their device habits. And so you can't stay there. You can't stay in friendship zone forever. The perfect combo is marrying those two together, right? So if it's not hot to be in the friend zone, we probably should give them a couple tips how to get out of the friend zone, right, Lanissa?
Absolutely. So it's not hot to be in the friend zone. What is hot is getting out of the friend zone. So how do you get out of the friend zone? So absolutely build that rapport. How was your weekend? It was great. And then as soon as you kind of have a little bit of that small talk, from the very first call, start asking those very simple questions of how can we serve you? And don't make it about you, because that's when we get uncomfortable. If we feel like we're being pushy, that's when we get really uncomfortable to take it out of the friend zone. But if you make it about them, we all want to talk about ourselves. So when we say, how is your practice doing? How can we serve you? What do you need from us? Where do you see our product or our practice fitting in or partnering with your practice? How could we work together? How can we best, partner with you? What are the challenges you're having? And how can we help you with that? And when you make it about them, that makes it a lot easier to have these conversations. Kate, I know you have some thoughts around this too, and you've done some amazing things in the field with getting out of the friend zone. So I'd love to hear about that too.
Yeah. And I think what the advice you just gave is perfect if you're just starting in a new territory or if it's a new office. Just from the very beginning, work in some practice partnership questions, right? Don't make it all personal. If you've been friend zone for a while and you're wondering how to get out of the friend zone, what worked for me, because I got to that point where the friend zone was crippling me and my performance, right? And so I worked with my district manager on how can we do this without completely shutting them down or being threatening, or like I said, blindsiding them with these commitment questions, right? And the easiest thing was to
just having a cup of coffee.
I know.
What happened?
Don't want to scare them off with my need for commitment. I'm not needy, I promise. But the easiest thing to do is bring in a neutral tool, which is a business review. And this can be, you may have, an app or something that makes it for you. If you don't, a simple Excel document is easy. Whatever they can see their office and their performance with you, whether that's product numbers or surgery numbers from years past or quarter comparison, some sort of timeline, right? And you don't even have to start. You just give it to them and you just say, I just wanted to do a quick business review with you, show you what you've done with us in the past. And if there's any changes, you can always ask, hey, I noticed in 2019, you sent us 30 patients. In 2020, you sent us 2. What do you think? What do you think was the difference? And that opens up that conversation without it being, it was 30, not 2. What's going on here? Like, I thought we were friends. There's a nuance to it. And really use all that friend zone material that you have, because if you've been friend zoned for a while, the chances are the doctor has shared with you personal details or some information that you can link your product, your support to their dreams and goals, right? I remember one doctor was talking about putting her twin sons through college, and she was wondering, like, yeah, I'm just, I'm really hoping to do this with my practice because I've got my twin boys going to college next year, and I don't want to take out any student loans. And at that time, we had a good rebate program that she could benefit from if we worked together and the patient, she fit the right amount of patients, then it was a win-win. And I tied it to her goal because I knew that from being in the friend zone, right? And then it wasn't a threatening ask. It was like, hey, we're friends. Let me help you get there. Let me help you get those boys to college. And it bought her in. I used the friend zone material and it helped my numbers as well. So you can use all your friend zone material, marry it to your business partnership, and using a business review. It's a great thing. I personally bring one on almost every call. Unless you saw them like yesterday, but almost every call I would bring a business review, even if that thing's changed, because it helps them to wrap their head around how much business they're giving you. And they may be like, I really do like Lanissa. How come I don't fit more of her product? I don't understand. I thought I was. And it helps them stay on track, helps you stay on track, and it keeps your friendship, and it keeps your business relationship centered around the numbers and not personal, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I love that approach. I feel like that's super practical. One of the tactics that I used too in an office where I had been friend zoned for several months too was I was fresh out of training with the whole brand new coast to coast.
Oh yes.
And I was in a lunch with this office and I had approached the doctors and said, hey, I have been seeing you guys for a long time and I really trust you and I trust what you have to say. And here's what I got from the marketing team, but I need to know from you guys in this market on the field, like what's really important to you? Can you guys help me? Would you guys be willing to help me? And because we had that relationship, exactly like what you said, Kate, linking the relationship that we had built to the business side, can you help me? Like, this is what the marketing team says is important, but what do you guys really think is important? And they were more than willing to go through the messaging with me and say, this is what we really need to hear as a practice. Actually, we didn't know this, and we didn't know this, and we didn't know that. And this is really important and valuable to us in our practice. And we think that this would be really important to other physicians in this particular area, in this particular market. So not only was I able to get my message across to them in a way that I had never been able to get across before, I learned something new. They learned something new. And then they taught me how to share my message with other people in the area. So,
and I bet they wanted to know how it was going. Like the next time you came in, were they like, how's it going with those new like, how are doctors receiving it? Were we right? Like they're on board with you.
They actually did ask. And what is so crazy too, is it taught me like, I can do this. And they actually do want to learn. They don't just want to be in the friend zone. And it was a good reminder to me too, that if I'm not bringing value to them, if all we're doing is just shooting the breeze, I am wasting their time because they have a busy practice. They have patients to see, and it's my job to bring them value, to make their patients better and to make their practice better. Absolutely. And what is the ironic thing is when you get out of the friend zone and bring value to their practice, you actually create lasting and lifelong friendships with some of your customers.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
That is the irony. So what is hot today is staying out of the friend zone and bringing lasting value to your customers. Thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.